March 1st. It was February 29th yesterday, and it was a light snow today, March 1st. A peculiar, powdery light snow that didn't accumulate during the day, and now it's just a little, like a dusting it looks like out there. And finally it's quiet. It's really quiet, and I'm able to record and talk and possibly think. Not that anybody's listening. You know, if 2 or 3 people actually play this, it'll be a minor miracle. So I'm not concerned about it. I'm really not concerned about talking to anybody else. Nobody's listening. This is my own private scribblings, is all it is. See, yesterday, I woke up with my head. I was exhausted from like these dreams. It felt like my brain was a sponge had been squeezed and squeezed all night long. It was just throbbing, not my head. Actually, it felt like my brain inside my head was all squeezed and twisted. And I took a couple aspirins, and that didn't do anything. And then I realized, oh yes, vitamin C. It wasn't just a headache, it was a sickness coming on. And I took 500 milligram. So that was about 12 grams of vitamin C that I took yesterday. And it did clear it up. It took about 12 hours to clear up my head, but it did eventually. And I'm sure that the vitamin C, it had to do partly with, or at least partly with the weather dropping. Somehow the change in the barometer and the weather most likely had an effect on changing my physical state and getting me to a point where I needed vitamin C to help fight off illness. And it took about 12 hours for that much vitamin C to take its effect. And I had a lot of dreams, and it's really difficult to remember the dreams that you have, but when you do, you realize there's not. Usually, you're just able to remember just one small little glimpse. Yes, small little glimpse. Some little grain of something in your dream, and it's sort of kind of vague and it's not telling you very much, but you're almost able to grasp something of a memory. But there's so much more. There's always other parts of the dreams, other things that were happening that slip away that you can't remember. And very often they're very complete, complex situations where there's conversations going on. All these things happen in conversations. Actually seeing things, and I sometimes even possibly hearing things. And then it all just vanishes. And it really seemed to me, especially I partly having the thing with the headache yesterday, was that it somehow this being sick made it more aware. I was able to be more aware when I woke up of the dreams that I was coming out of, because I maybe wasn't completely coming out of them because of the condition of my brain being like this sponge. And it seemed to me that part of why my brain felt like this sponge that had been wrung out was that maybe I had more dreams that night than normal. That might have been part of it. And which is the cause and which is the effect, I'm not sure. I mean, did I have more dreams because I was getting sick, or did I get the headache because as a result of having more dreams? Or did I have a normal amount of dreams, but somehow having the headache, or I was able to remember more of them? But it did seem to me that I really spent, I was asleep for 9-10 hours, maybe more, and that I spent many hours going through different dream experiences, very complete experiences, complex, of hearing, seeing, conversations. And it all vanishes when you wake up, and then it's like I think it could be like having a split personality, like if you like Sybil, somebody with multiple personalities that maybe are aware of the existence of each other, the same person having different personalities, and may be aware of the existence of each other, but may be unaware that they're actually the same person. And each of them knows that when you're talking to that person, whoever that person happens to be at the moment you're talking to them, is probably aware that they have periods where they black out and they don't remember things for certain periods. And they probably say, well, it troubles me that this happens. I don't know what happens to me during these times. And then I found out that so-and-so came around and did such and such during this time when I was blacked out. And that person that they're talking about is themselves in their other personality. And I have a feeling that what they experience, people with these multiple personalities, may be very similar to what we experience with dreams. In other words, like I have these complete experiences in my dreams. As soon as I wake up, they're forgotten. So did they not happen? Was that not me in those dreams? Or it was me, but I just have no memory of it? Just like a person with multiple personality, they have a complete experience as their other personalities. But then when they're back in themselves, they have no recollection of that other personality. But was it them? Was it not them, even if they don't remember? And it's a kind of an interesting and disturbing thought at the same time, that this may be something we all kind of experience, by the dream state may be a form of alternate personality. And the inability to remember dreams when we wake up may be very much like having two different personalities that can't be aware of each other. Those are my thoughts on it. I really find sometimes that when I'm sleeping and just waking up from sleeping, and I'm capable sometimes of recalling a little bit more than normal of the dreams, that there really were complete experiences. But it's like trying to recall it. It's like if you try to recall a conversation, typical conversations that you had 10 years ago, 30 years ago, 5 years ago, a month ago. The average, typical, unmemorable conversation, you can't you can't recollect it word for word, or even, it's just vaguely, yeah, I had a conversation, I suppose, with somebody, but it's gone. The specific memory of it is gone. But that doesn't mean that conversation didn't take place. And the same thing happens with dreams. Except that waking up from a dream, you may be 1/2 of a second. The difference between from the dream state to the waking state of even 1/2 a second is may be equivalent to 10 years of memory and of trying to. So that you see, it's like the gap of 10 years trying to recall something that happened 10 years ago is equivalent to the space of 1/2 a second between being asleep and waking up. So there's a lot of things to try to figure out, and why it's so difficult to remember dreams, and particularly to understand just how complete of an experience dreams actually can be, because I know that I have some very complete conversations and physical experiences. And they seem very real. And most of the time it's not, oh, well, I'm lying here and I'm having a dream and this isn't real and this is just something I'm dreaming. It's like when you're reading a book or watching a movie. Well, when you're watching a movie, usually you get wrapped up in the movie. But you're always able to step back for a second if you feel like it and say, oh, wait a second, I'm watching a movie. This is a movie I'm watching. But most of the time, you're watching the movie, you get caught up in the story of the movie, and you suspend this consciousness of the fact that you're watching a movie. And the same thing happens in dreams. Most of the time, you get caught up in the dream, and it's a lot less likely to step back and say, wait, this is a dream. Because when you're watching a movie, you can look back from the screen and say, okay, well, I'm sitting in this seat watching this movie screen or this television screen, but you can't do that in the dream. In the dream, you're actually in the dream. You cannot really step out of it unless you wake yourself up. So you are in that dream experience, and the conversations that you have in the dreams are real conversations. They're not just, oh, well, I'm just pretending, I'm just talking to fictional creations of my subconscious mind. You're actually talking to those people. So, I'm not talking to anybody here except myself. So maybe there's a similarity there. Maybe this is like a dream for me.